Cheating is one of the deepest betrayals in love, and yet, those who cheat rarely admit the full truth of their actions. They may confess to small things, they may even cry and apologize, but the core of what they are hiding remains buried. A person who cheats will never fully admit how much they planned it, how much they thought about it, and how deeply they deceived the person they claimed to love. To admit this would be to strip away their mask, to face themselves in the mirror, and most people cannot bear that level of honesty. When someone cheats, it is not always just about passion or desire. Sometimes it is about ego, validation, or the thrill of secrecy. But if you listen closely to how they explain themselves, you will notice the pattern. They minimize. They will say, "It just happened." They will say, "It meant nothing." But the truth is, nothing just happens. Every action is a choice, and behind every choice lies intention. What they will never admit is that they allowed themselves to cross boundaries in their mind long before they crossed them in reality. The psychology of a cheater is built on layers of denial. They avoid admitting how many lies they told, how many stories they constructed, and how much effort it really took to keep secrets. Because admitting this would mean acknowledging that cheating is not an accident, but a series of deliberate steps. A person who cheats will never say, "I lied to you every single day." They will never admit how much they rehearsed their excuses, how carefully they erased their tracks, how easily they smiled while keeping the truth hidden. And then comes the guilt. But guilt can be deceptive too. Some cheaters cry, some beg, but their tears are not always about the pain they caused their partner. Sometimes those tears are for themselves, because they were caught, because their image has been shattered, because now they must face consequences. What they will never admit is that their guilt did not stop them while they were doing it. Their conscience only awakened when their actions were exposed. In love, we often look for honesty as proof of commitment. But honesty is the very thing a cheater fears most. They may say, "I'm sorry, I'll never do it again." But they rarely reveal the depth of their betrayal. They will never admit how much they compared their partner with someone else. They will never admit how they justified it in their mind, convincing themselves that they deserved it, or that their partner would never find out. They will never admit how selfish their love truly was. And perhaps the most painful truth of all is this: a person who cheats will never admit how much of themselves they lost in the process. They will never tell you that they no longer respect themselves, that they feel a growing emptiness inside, that their victories taste bitter because they know the price they paid was trust. They may hide behind excuses, behind charm, behind promises. But deep down, they know that something within them has been broken. So when you hear half-truths, when you sense there is more behind the story than what is being told, trust your instincts. Because psychology shows us that people reveal themselves not just in what they say, but in what they cannot say. A cheater may offer apologies, may give explanations, but the silence between their words is where the real truth lies. And if you've ever been on the other side of betrayal, remember this: their refusal to admit the full truth does not mean you are unworthy. It does not mean you were not enough. It only means they were too weak to be honest, too afraid to face their own actions, and too broken to give you the love you deserved. In the end, love built on lies cannot last, and the person who cheats may keep denying, may keep hiding, but the truth has a way of surfacing, not always in words, but in their eyes, in their restless soul, and in the distance they create from the very person they once claimed to love.